Happy New Year! It's that time again. Time to look forward to all of the new and exciting additions coming to theme parks around the world. From record-breaking thrill machines to immersive new lands to explore, and just about everything in between, there's tons of fun theme parks and roller coaster related projects opening in 2025 that you can look forward to experiencing very soon. Good day everyone, and welcome to Theme Park Parlay, the AWP show where we talk about all things theme parks. I started the tradition of breaking down every ride, roller coaster, attraction, and theme park coming in the new year way back in 2021. And this year, it's going to be bigger and better than ever. I really liked what I did last year with breaking the video up into 3 parts, so I'm going to do that again. This episode will focus on new additions coming to North America, the second one will cover international projects, and the final episode will be dedicated to brand new parks opening their gates for the very first time. Of course, I always try to make these lists as comprehensive as possible, so I'll be talking about those big projects that everyone is buzzing about, but I also try to dig deep and find out what's going on at those parks you probably haven't heard of before. With that, we have a lot to cover, so without any further ado, let's talk theme parks. Let's kick things off with everyone's favorite North American super chain, Six Flags. This is the first full season since the Six Flags Cedar Fair merger, and although most of these projects would have already been in development before the merger was finalized, it is a hell of a lineup to kick off the new partnership with. Let's start with my home park, Canada's Wonderland. We'll be adding a record-breaking premier rides, Skyrocket 3. I already have a few AlpenFury videos on my channel, but this ride is going to be a huge deal for the park. At 164 feet tall, 3,280 feet long, and reaching a top speed of 115 kilometers per hour, AlpenFury will be Canada's tallest, longest, and fastest launched roller coaster. It'll also feature a whopping 9 inversions, the most of any coaster in North America, tied with Steel Curtain. Of course, the most defining feature of this ride will be the fiery launch out of the top of Wonder Mountain. The ride is also going to be accompanied by some general theming upgrades to the surrounding Alpenfest area, but details on that have yet to be released. I am so excited for this ride. Like, it is my kind of coaster, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it has the potential to crack my top 5. Moving on to Carowinds, we have 2 new family-focused attractions, Snoopy's Racing Railway and Charlie Brown's River Raft Blast. The first is a launch kiddie coaster from Art Engineering, and is a clone of the ride of the same name at Canada's Wonderland. Having been on the original, I can confirm that it's a fun and adorable ride, and it'll fit perfectly into Carowinds Camp Snoopy area. The second will be a mock ride Splash Battle. I've actually never been on one of these, but they do look fun, and it provides guests with an interactive way to cool off, something the park desperately needed since they removed their last water ride in 2018. Moving on to Cedar Point, we have a double feature with the return of Top Thrill 2 and the debut of Siren's Curse. Of course, Top Thrill 2 is the modified reimagination of Top Thrill Dragster, featuring a swing launch, a backward spike, and new trains from Zamperla. It did open briefly last May, but was quickly shut down after a few days due to some mechanical issues. Zamperla has been working on some modifications ever since, mostly to the trains from what I've heard, and as of the time of this recording, it appears that testing is in progress, giving me hope that it'll make its triumphant return by opening day. But of course, the park will also be opening Siren's Curse, one of the first Vekoma tilt coasters to open in North America. The announcement of this ride came as a bit of a surprise, and apparently it bounced around a few parks before it came into Cedar Point's possession. If rumors are to be believed, it was originally intended for Energylandia, but due to some funding issues, that project was cancelled, and it was sold to Six Flags Mexico, who in turn had to give it up due to some environmental concerns. However it got here, I'm just happy that we finally get to see a new age Vekoma thrill coaster in North America, and that it'll be within driving distance for me. King's Dominion first debuted their immersive Jungle X area in 2022 with the opening of Tumbili. And now, in 2025, it looks like the park is going to finish what they started with the opening of Rapterra. This B&M launch swing coaster will simulate the flight of the Jungle Hawk, launching riders at 104.6 kilometers per hour through a 3,806-foot layout that features a dive loop, a flat spin corkscrew, and an element that the park is calling a 360-degree Raptor roll, which could also double as a name for the park's signature sushi dish. Jokes aside, it looks like a great ride that'll really tie the area together. The concept animation also shows some cool pieces of theming around the ride, including some near misses with the temple ruins during the launch. But that's not all for Jungle X, as Intimidator / Project 305 will finally be integrated into the area with a brand new name, Pantherian. Obviously, this means that the 2010 Intamin Giga is officially ditching the NASCAR theme and assuming the role of the mystical Panther Shrine within the Jungle X lore. We know that the track is getting a fresh coat of orange and black paint, but we don't have any further details on what the retheme will entail. However, I wouldn't be surprised if the station in Q gets some temple-esque upgrades. Nearby, Flight of Fear is also getting a facelift. The only thing we know so far is that the exterior of the building will be getting, quote, new colors supporting the Way Foundation research. Now, I don't know what this means for the inside of the building, but my guess is that they're going to retcon the extraterrestrial theming to fit the Jungle X backstory without having to change too much. All of this is on top of the fact that King's Dominion is celebrating their 50th anniversary in 2025, which will bring new live entertainment offerings, decorations on International Street, the return of the Clown Band, and a new setlist for the Singing Mushrooms. Needless to say, this is going to be an epic year for King's Dominion. The other King's Park, Kings Island, will be adding a racing water coaster called River Racers to the Soak City Water Park. This slide will allow riders to face each other in side-by-side flumes. River Racers will begin with a 33-foot first drop and reach a max speed of 30 miles per hour. River Racers will also use water jets to propel the rafts uphill and into an illuminated tunnel complete with special effects. Knott's Berry Farm will finally be opening their long-awaited revamp of Montezuma's Revenge, now called Montezuma, the Forbidden Fortress. I won't spend too much time on this one since I've covered it in the past, but essentially this project will replace the old Schwarzkopf flywheel with an LSM launch system, and the station will feature some special effects and a randomized sequence that could send the train forwards or backwards. Although many are sad to see the original flywheel launch system go, I'm happy to see that this project will allow this coaster, which by the way, is the oldest operating shuttle loop coaster in North America, to live on. Six Flags Fiesta Texas isn't adding anything new in 2025, but they are giving their B&M invert some love. Goliath, one of many Batman clones throughout the Six Flags chain, will reopen this year as Chupacabra. The transformation will include a new color scheme and new theming elements around the station and queue. This includes a themed courtyard, a stone-carved statue of the beast itself, ominous signs and claw marks, and a suspenseful musical score, amongst other chilling sound effects. The retheme is perfect, as it will better match the culture and architecture of San Antonio, where Six Flags Fiesta Texas is located. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, since it was supposed to open last year, but Six Flags Great Adventure will be opening Flash Vertical Velocity. This will be the world's second Vekoma Super Boomerang, and the first to make an appearance in North America. This souped-up shuttle coaster will use LSM launches to take riders through a twisting layout, featuring two inversions, both forwards and backwards. Like I said earlier with Siren's Curse, I'm really excited to see some new age, high-thrill Vekoma coasters in North America. I don't know why they couldn't get it open in 2024, but I've got my fingers crossed for a smooth opening this year. Now, please forgive my pronunciation on this one, but Six Flags Great America will be opening a new B&M dive coaster called, Wrath of Rakshasa. And before you ask, a Rakshasa is a type of goblin or demon from Hindu mythology that has the ability to change their shape at will. The defining feature of this coaster, of course, will be its 171-foot beyond vertical 96-degree first drop, making it the steepest B&M dive coaster to date. It will also feature the most inversions of any B&M dive machine, with an Immelman, a dive loop, a zero-G roll, a corkscrew, and a barrel roll. I really enjoy what B&M and Six Flags have been doing with these new beyond vertical dive coasters, and it's great to see more dive coasters with these extended layouts. While it may not be every enthusiast's top choice, I think this is going to be a huge hit with the general public at Great America. Over at Six Flags Mexico, their old boomerang coaster will be undergoing a transformation to become Batgirl. There really isn't too much to say here, it's just a bucket of purple paint and a new logo, but it'll be cool to see Batgirl get some representation in the parks. There's also the possibility that the ride will receive an updated train, but I haven't found anything confirming or denying this at the time of recording. Six Flags New England will finally be opening something in the old plot left behind by Goliath, an intimate shuttle coaster called Quantum Accelerator. This family-friendly coaster will feature 2 launches, reach a top speed of 72.4 kilometers per hour, and traverse 2,604 feet of track with 11 airtime moments. I actually love that the parks are committing to building more family-friendly coasters, and these straddle coasters, where you ride in a motorbike-style position, seem like really cool additions. I'm also a sucker for rides with backstory. Quantum Accelerator sets guests in the quiet town of Crackaxle Canyon, a perfect Wild West outpost for Professor Screamore to hide his collection of bizarre inventions. Time travel always fascinated the eccentric inventor. He dreamed of combining old-world technology like steam-powered machinery with modern marvels to launch himself back and forth through time. I know it's corny and, let's be honest, a bit of a ripoff of Time Traveler, but I don't care. I love it. Rounding out our Six Flags editions is another carryover from last year, and that's Georgia Surfer at Six Flags Over Georgia. This will be a first-of-its-kind Intamin Ultra Surf, propelling riders back and forth along the 540-foot half-pipe, reaching a height of 144 feet, a top speed of 97 kilometers per hour, and an epic water finale. 2025 wouldn't be complete without a bit of pixie dust, so let's continue our conversation by talking about all of the new additions coming to the domestic Disney parks. Starting with Disneyland, we'll be celebrating their 70th anniversary this year. Yes, the happiest place on Earth first opened on July 17th, 1955, and guests can celebrate happy at both Disneyland Park and Disney's California Adventure. Disneyland will see a new Mickey and Friends cavalcade, projections on It's a Small World, the return of the fan-favorite Paint the Night Parade, and the return of the Wondrous Journeys fireworks show. The biggest news of all, however, is the debut of Walt Disney A Magical Life at the Main Street Opera House. This all-new animatronic show will bring Walt Disney to life in animatronic form for the first time ever, where Walt himself will share the story of his life and legacy. The show is set to debut on May 16th, and after the 70th celebrations, will be shown in rotation with great moments with Mr. Lincoln, which will be taking a hiatus in the meantime. Now, I have some mixed feelings about making an animatronic of Walt, but he and his team of Imagineers were certainly pioneers of audio animatronic technology, so in a way, it's kind of fitting, and I trust that Disney is taking great care with bringing this experience to life. Over on the DCA side, the Better Together Parade, featuring everyone's favorite Pixar pals, will continue its run, and a new version of World of Color, titled World of Color Happiness, will explore the theme of happiness throughout Disney history as joy and the other inside-out emotions host a spectacle of water and light. Of course, no Disney celebration is complete without new character looks, exclusive food offerings, and other surprises throughout the resort. Now, Disneyland isn't the only park bringing back a nighttime parade. Over at the Walt Disney World Resort, Magic Kingdom is getting ready to debut an all-new parade called Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away, which will debut this summer. Hosted by the Blue Fairy, the new parade is set to mix Disney nostalgia with cutting-edge innovation, and based on the concept art, we can expect to see characters from Moana, Peter Pan, Frozen, and Encanto, though I'm sure there'll be many others. I am so happy to see Magic Kingdom get a nighttime parade again. It's been without one for far too long. And a brand new one that's never been done before? Even more exciting! The concept art is kind of giving Spectral Magic vibes, which, as a 90s kid, makes me even more excited for this new addition. Over at Epcot, Test Track has been closed for refurbishment since June, but will be reopening with a brand new story later this year. Although details on this third iteration of the ride have been scarce, we do know that Imagineers are going back to the source as World of Motion, an opening day attraction that occupied Test Track's pavilion until 1996, will be a huge source of inspiration. There's going to be new show scenes showcasing technological advances and how our lifestyles and relationships to mobility connect everyone. We also know that the queue will feature 6 exhibits highlighting different vehicles and the innovators behind them. I have always had a soft spot for Test Track, but version 2.0 definitely felt flat when compared to the original. I'm really glad to hear that version 3.0 will see the return of practical sets and reconnect with the heart of the pavilion. Jumping over to Disney's Hollywood Studios, we have 2 new shows opening this year. The first is The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, which will replace the old Voyage of the Little Mermaid show, which never returned since it closed for the COVID-19 pandemic. The new show will feature a fresh take on Ariel's journey, featuring iconic songs, bold new set pieces, updated special effects, and a general refresh to the Animation Courtyard Theater. Most importantly, however, it has been confirmed that the puppets will return! The other show will be Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After, which will open this summer in the Sunset Theater, the former home of Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. The show will offer a glimpse into the dark and mysterious realm of the Magic Mirror, where villains like Captain Hook, Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, and Hades will tell their side of the story. I am so pumped for this. I need more villains in the parks, but it is a bit surprising considering that Magic Kingdom will soon be starting work on Villains Land, which makes me wonder whether this is just a temporary addition until the Magic Kingdom project is complete. Finally, Disney's Animal Kingdom will introduce Zootopia Better Zoogether, a new show in the Tree of Life that will replace It's Tough to Be a Bug. In this new 4D experience, Judy Hopps, Nick Wilde, and other Zootopia characters will join guests on an adventure through different biomes from the film. Although I've always been against bringing Zootopia to Animal Kingdom, I think this makes sense, and it's a tasteful way to introduce these characters to the park in a way that doesn't take away from the message of conservation. So, I'm actually looking forward to this. And I mean, if the rumors that Hopper's animatronic will be replaced by a figure of Officer Clawhauser are true, count me in. That's it for the domestic Disney parks, but stay tuned for episode 2, where I'll talk about some projects coming to Disneyland Paris and Tokyo Disney Sea. Next, let's talk about some of the projects coming to the United Parks and Resorts. This spring, Busch Gardens Tampa will open Wild Oasis, an interactive and reimagined realm that will replace Jungala. This new area is designed to entertain, educate, and inspire guests, immersing them in the sounds and sights of the rainforest. The project will include a retheme of the Family Drop Tower that will introduce new special effects, a climbing canopy, interactive play areas, a multi-species habitat with rainforest animals, and even a scavenger hunt. I really appreciate how the park is taking what was good about Jungala and leaning into this notion of connection and conservation. It's always good to see more edutainment in the parks. Busch Gardens Williamsburg will be resurrecting a classic fan favorite coaster, with the debut of Big Bad Wolf: The Wolf's Revenge. The original Big Bad Wolf was an aero-suspended coaster that operated at the park from 1984 to 2009 and offered guests quite a thrill with its iconic 99-foot drop towards the Rhine River. The Wolf's Revenge, on the other hand, will be a B&M family inverted coaster, North America's longest to be exact, traversing 2,583 feet of track. The ride will continue the legacy of the original by placing guests in the Festival of the Silent Bells, a tradition meant to honor the legend of the werewolf from all those years ago. Now, the wolf has returned to take guests on a thrilling ride through the German countryside once again. Now, I know there are some enthusiasts out there who are a little put off by this being a family coaster that will only ever live in the shadow of the original, but I don't know. I kind of like when these parks pay tribute to their past attractions with modern reimaginings, and for a family coaster, it looks pretty fun. SeaWorld Orlando is getting a new flying theater in the Wild Arctic area, finally bringing a replacement to the old Wild Arctic simulator. We don't have an official name yet, but we do know that it's going to be built by Mock Rise. Supposedly, it'll be their Airfic model, which will increase capacity by using a rotating platform that allows one side to load and unload while the other is in the show. As for the experience itself, it'll allow riders to, quote, soar over icy landscapes, dive beneath frozen waters, and come face to face with some of the planet's most magnificent creatures like walruses and belugas. SeaWorld San Antonio is getting a new roller coaster this year with Beach Rescue Racer, a Zyrier Discovery launch. This family attraction will be themed to rescue jeeps, where guests will traverse 1,300 feet of track to bring stranded beach animals to safety. The coaster will be accompanied by a new kids area called Rescue Junior, which will also include a chair swing attraction called the Seabird Swing, an interactive and educational train ride called Ocean Quest Express that will simulate a mission to locate and save sea creatures in distress, and the Sea Splash Splash Pad. Again, I love how SeaWorld is embracing edutainment this year and creating attractions that are interactive and inspirational. Finally, SeaWorld San Diego will be opening Jewels of the Sea, a jellyfish exhibit that I believe was supposed to open last year, and giving some TLC to Journey to Atlantis, which will be updated to include a refreshed storyline and new theming, water elements, and visual effects. Most of the rumors out there suggest that most of this retheme would be focused on the indoor elevator lift, which was always intended to have some theming and special effects that never really came to fruition due to budget and technological limitations. Although Merlin Entertainment is typically associated with European parks like Alton Towers, they do get a segment in this episode for everything coming to their North American LEGOLAND parks. LEGOLAND Florida will be opening an aquarium in 2025, Sea Life Florida, which will be located just inside the main park. Of course, Merlin owns all of the Sea Life aquariums in North America, and LEGOLAND California also has a Sea Life property at their park. Now, I'm not sure if this will be an upcharge attraction or something that's included with admission, but it's a cool add-on nevertheless. Finally, LEGOLAND New York will be opening a Duplo Peppa Pig playground. This interactive play area will include Peppa Pig's treehouse, the slide, Muddy Puddle splash areas, Grandpa Pig's boat, and a puppet theater where guests can meet Peppa and George. Of course, Merlin is also working on another big project in the US that will open in 2025, but you'll have to wait until episode 3 for that. Not too much is going on for the Herschend Parks this year, unless you're Kentucky Kingdom, that is. I've always wanted to see this park fully lean into the Kentucky vibes, and in 2025, it looks like they're doing just that. Kentucky Grove will be a new family area with lush gardens and whimsical buildings located near Thunder Run. The expansion will see the addition of 3 new family rides: a Zamperla Jump Around, a Zamperla Flying Tigers, and a train. Kentucky Grove will also have character meet and greets and new food and beverage offerings. 10 other rides around the park are also supposed to get themed with a Kentucky twist, and all of this should be ready by the time the park opens in May. This is the first major project Kentucky Kingdom has done since Herschend took over the park in 2021, and Herschend traditionally doesn't invest very much into their parks that aren't Dollywood or Silver Dollar City. So to see a project of this scale is awesome, and it actually makes me excited for the future of this park. There's not too much to speak of for the Palace Parks in terms of new additions for this year, but there are 2 projects that are worth mentioning. The first is Hyperlight, a water slide coming to the Adventure Bay Water Park in Adventureland. Although the slide itself is just an upgrade of the existing Typhoon, the new experience will bring new lighting, lasers, and surround sound to make it a full sensory experience. Over at Kennywood, 25 will see the return of Steel Curtain, their iconic S&S 9 inversion hypercoaster. The ride has been plagued with mechanical issues since it first opened in 2019, but the park closed it for the entirety of the 2024 season so that they could work on it. Allegedly, the ride is ready to reopen and should hopefully be a lot more reliable this season. I got to ride Steel Curtain back in 2022, and I absolutely loved it, so I'll be really happy to see it back up and running once again. 2025 is looking like a big year for FunSpot, as all 3 of their parks will be getting something new this year. Well, new for them anyways. These rides were purchased from the now defunct Funplex property in Myrtle Beach, and they were all manufactured by SBF Visa. Starting with FunSpot Atlanta, they'll be getting a golf-themed family throw ride called Hook and Slice, which looks like SBF Visa's take on a Chance Wipeout. FunSpot Kissimmee will add a swing around in their kiddie area, and an inverted pendulum ride called Up and Overboard, which looks similar to a Zamperla Hawk. Finally, FunSpot Orlando already opened a new kiddie teacups ride, replacing their old one, and they're getting ready to open a Mach Fun Tower, which is set to be the tallest interactive 360-degree flying jet ride in North America. Well, we've come to the last chapter of today's discussion, which means it's time to talk about all of the awesome new for 2025 projects from the independent North American parks. Let's start with Adventureland in Long Island, New York. Last year, they announced that they'll be opening a first-of-its-kind attraction from RES called Wave Twister. The boomerang-shaped tracked flat ride kinda reminds me of Zamperla's disco coasters, but crazier. It'll also feature some water effects, fully leaning into the idea of surfing on a wave. I haven't heard much about this project since it was first announced, but as long as everything is still on track, it should open sometime this summer. Bay Beach in Green Bay, Wisconsin will be rebuilding their train ride this year. This new version of the train will have a new layout and wider tracks, which will be able to accommodate wheelchair-accessible trains. The attraction will allow guests to travel from one side of the park to the other and will run a 2007 propane-fueled CP Huntington train that originally operated at the Memphis Zoo. Appearing yet again this year is LEGOLAND, and their two headlining coasters, Palindrome and Circuit Breaker. For those of you who aren't familiar, LEGOLAND is the amusement park located at the Circuit of the Americas F1 track in Austin, Texas. So far, the park is only a small collection of kiddie rides, but these two new coasters are intended to bring in some thrills. Palindrome will be a Gerstlauer Infinity coaster that stretches over the highway, going both forwards and backwards through two inversions with a unique hop stall spike at the end. Circuit Breaker will be a Vekoma tilt coaster, the first or second to open in North America, depending on when Siren's Curse opens. In addition to its signature tilt track, Circuit Breaker will have 4 inversions, including a rollover camelback maneuver. The park will also introduce an SBF Visa Big Air spinning coaster that previously operated at Myrtle Beach's Funplex as Fun in the Sun, bringing the park's total coaster count to 6. Now, Palindrome was first announced all the way back in 2021, so I honestly feel a bit cynical about LEGOLAND at this point. However, track work for Palindrome is complete, and Circuit Breaker isn't too far behind, so I'm hopeful that everything will open smoothly this year. Knock on wood. Family Kingdom in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, will be opening a new looping pendulum ride called the Flip Side, which will be a technical park loop fighter. This ride is pretty cool because the seats themselves will also have the ability to flip freely, so in a way, it's almost like a spiritual successor to the old Evolution rides. Frankie's Fun Park is a chain of indoor-outdoor family entertainment centers in North and South Carolina, and their Greenville location will be adding a yet-to-be-named SBF Visa spinner coaster. But let's be real, it'll probably just end up being called Spinning Coaster. Herschend Park is set to break records with the world's tallest S&S Scream & Swing, Twizzlers Twisted Gravity. This giant swing set will reach a height of 137 feet, breaking the record previously held by Tidal Surge and Serengeti Flyer by a whopping 2.5 feet, and a reach speeds of 109 kilometers per hour. I both love and hate these rides. They truly terrify me, but in the best way, so I'm really happy that Hershey Park is getting one. And to be clear, I know the ride itself doesn't twist, but the idea is that gravity is being twisted as you swing into the air, so the name makes sense. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. 2025 is going to be a big year for Lagoon in Farmington, Utah, as they're adding a whole new area called the District. This steampunk-themed land will include 2 new rides: Steamworks, a gear-themed variant of the suspended top spin, and Time Tinker, a Zamperla Nebulas. The third ride will be a location of their old helicopters, which will be rethemed as rivets and rotors. I think I said this earlier, but I'm a huge sucker for steampunk theming at the parks, and I love it when the small parks create fun themed areas, so I'm all for this. Lagoon will also be adding 2 new dining and retail locations, Carousel Candy and Peacock Parlor. Lost Island, the highly themed and immersive park in Waterloo, Iowa, will be adding their first roller coaster since opening in 2022, an RMC Raptor called Fire Runner. It will use the mirrored version of the prototype layout, the same as Railblazer and Stunt Pilot, and having been on Railblazer this year, I am so happy for Lost Island to be getting this coaster, because they are intense and incredible rides that give some wicked airtime. And of course, Lost Island being what it is, Fire Runner will have its own backstory to integrate it into the Fire realm, allowing guests to join the Mura people through an intense course inspired by fire and speed. The park will also debut the Island Carousel in 2025, which was supposed to open back in 2022, then in 2024, but will now become the centerpiece of the Awa area this year. Maury's Piers in Wildwood, New Jersey is giving some love to their CCI wooden coaster Great White by replacing their old PTC trains with new Millennium Flyer trains from GCI, amongst other enhancements to improve the ride. The Millennium Flyer trains will be able to offer a more comfortable ride experience because, unlike older train designs, it uses a single axle configuration that allows them to navigate the course more fluidly and avoid side-to-side shuffling. It's always great to see these parks invest in their old woodies, so I'd say this is a win for Maury's. A park not too far from me, Niagara Amusement Park, has certainly seen some better days. But since the park was purchased by IB Parks and Entertainment in 2021, our amusement park savior Gene Staples has slowly been trying to resurrect the park and get it back to a functional and less dilapidated state. 2025 will see a number of rides open to help round out its lineup. Midway Mayhem is a Huss Frisbee that previously operated as Revolution at Six Flags Great America. I actually got to ride this one at Great America in 2023, then saw it under construction at Niagara Amusement Park back in August, so it'll be fun to see it running again. And it's in a great location within the park that really makes it feel like an anchor attraction. The Flying Witch is a classic AlpenFury dark ride that previously operated at Playland Park in Rye, New York. I also got to see this ride under construction in the summer, and as a big fan of classic dark rides, I'm really looking forward to experiencing it. Now, those are the only 2 rides that are confirmed to be coming soon, according to the park's website, but Niagara Amusement Park also has a number of other rides in storage on the property, including a Mock Rides Caterpillar, a Huss Top Spin, a Huss Troika, a Huss Condor that previously operated as Flying Falcon at Herschend Park, a Larson Super Loop that previously operated as Mardi Gras Hangover at Six Flags Great America, and of course, a Schwarzkopf Shuttle Loop that previously operated as Casabel 2.0 at La Fiera Chapultepec Magico and Laser Loop at Kennywood. It's hard to say when or even if these attractions will open, but it is something to keep an eye on. Quasi Amusement Park in Middlebury, Connecticut will be opening an SBF Visa spinning coaster this year. Next, another credit in my home province, Santa's Village in Bracebridge, Ontario will be getting a brand new Vekoma family coaster this year with Yeti Trek. This ride looks so cute and fun, winding its way through the Muskoka Woods. Santa's Village had to say goodbye to Rudolph's Sleigh Ride, their old Zamperla powered coaster, earlier this year, but Yeti Trek definitely seems like a worthy replacement. And finally, we have a new Zamperla Nebulas called Time Twister coming to Waldameer in Erie, Pennsylvania. These Nebulas are cool rides, and I think it'll be a great fit for the park. My only grievance was that it replaced their old Spider Ride, which was an absolute classic. But that's the way it goes sometimes, and I'm sure this new ride will be a hit. And that, my friends, is every new ride, attraction, and roller coaster coming to the North American theme parks in 2025. Now, I know I'm probably missing some things, so if you know of anything that didn't make my list, please comment down below and tell me about it. Of course, I have 2 more episodes coming up in this series. The next installment will cover the international projects coming this year, and episode 3 will cover all of the new theme parks that will be opening their gates for the very first time in 2025. I've already done an extensive amount of research for these videos, but if you know of anything that should make these lists, again, comment below so I can make sure to include them, especially if it's something obscure. And while I'm getting you to comment stuff, because, you know, engagement, which one of these attractions are you most looking forward to? Are there any big projects happening at your home park? Comment below and let me know. Of course, also be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos, including theme park discussion videos like the one you're watching right now, or vlogs from all of my adventures. And if you still can't get enough of my content, consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. Patreon allows you to provide the channel with a monthly donation that helps me keep this channel running and improve it with new software and equipment. As a thank you for your support, I provide you with fun perks and bonus content, including Beyond the Adventure, vlogs from the vault, and my newest series, Theme Park Kitchen, where my fiance Mike and I try some different recipes from theme parks around the world. There's a few different tiers and pledge levels to choose from, so head on over to patreon.com/advparker to learn more. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, the adventures are calling. Bye! Orient and Black Traint? Oh my god. Wrath of Rakshas. Okay.